D3, the Mighty Ducks. Now, I remember when this came out, it was all a buzz because I just watched the first one. And I was like, oh yeah, I gotta see this. And like, it was coming out VHS. I'd only watched the first one. And then we just rented this and I watched it. And I was so confused because like I was talking about, Portman's not coming. Who's Portman? Who are these other people? Why is Kenan Thompson suddenly in the Mighty Ducks movies? It was the other all that guy, Danny Temporelli, that was in the Mighty Ducks movies. It was confusing. And Danny Temporelli, I don't think was even on all that at this point. 97 when this came out, I think. I don't think he was on all that yet. I think he was about to join all that. 97, actually. 7, 8, 9. Maybe. I don't know. But, I just know that it was weird. And this one is different from the other two in that Gordon Bombay is not the main character. It's not really about Gordon this time. It's about Charlie. And don't get me wrong, Bombay is in it. He's just not in it as much. Think of a fan of this series, especially now that I've seen them all. But even when I was a kid, I was seeing the first one. The first 20 minutes have Bombay leaving the team and Charlie getting upset about it. They get this new coach, who to them is an asshole, takes Charlie's C away, so he's not captain anymore. Takes Goldberg's being number one goalie away and gives it to Julie the Cat, which makes sense, but that's not the way it was supposed to be. And takes the name the Duck, takes the Duck name away from the team. You see why you would think this guy's an asshole? Right? It's like D3, the Mighty Ducks. I forgot to write stuff down. I was going to write down like the formula, the Mighty Ducks formula. I think I can do it off the top of my head. All their rivals wear black. The Hawks, Iceland, and here with the Varsity Warriors. The Ducks are always a different name at the beginning of the film and then become the Ducks by the end of the film. They always win by 1 point. There's some other consistencies like the main character is always has a problem with something and by the end is okay with it. Like in the first two was Gordon, like he was this drunk alcoholic who had to do community service and he doesn't want to do this, and then by the end he's reformed. In the second one he becomes this big hot shot, and then by the end he's back to normal. This one, it's Charlie who is like rebelling against this new coach because it's not Bombay and he's changing everything around him, and by the end of the movie they're okay. That's one that's not listed on Wikipedia. Yeah, so it's just, there's more slapstick in this one too. But Hans is back for his part in the movie, which is not that big, but he's back, played by Joss Ackland. We get sort of this, it's Charlie's story now is what it is, and it's the Ducks, where like, the first one was Gordon's story, and it had a little bit of the Ducks in there. The second one was split between the Ducks and Gordon, because like Charlie was starting to come to more prominence. But this one is Charlie's story, and Gordon is in it at some point. And Charlie has a problem with the new coach because he's taking everything away from him. Eventually, Charlie has enough, and he leaves. He leaves Eden Hall. He leaves the team, everything, and takes Fulton with him. And from one point of view, I can see Charlie's point of view on this. They wanted the Ducks, right? They paid a scholarship for the Ducks to be there. I think that's how it works, right? They gave them a scholarship for the Ducks to be there, right? And then as soon as they get there, everything has changed. Charlie's not the captain. Goldberg's not the main goalie. They're not even the Ducks. They're the JV Warriors. I understand the school's going to have their own team names. Fine. But they wanted the Ducks. If they wanted a different team, they should have asked for a different team. But they wanted the Ducks, and they don't keep them as the Ducks. That was one of the things that I got upset about when I first watched this, is that why did they bring the Ducks in if they're going to change everything about them? It didn't make any sense. And you got this new coach, Coach O'Ryan, who seems like your typical asshole coach. And it's like, okay, bring Bombay back. Because I remember watching, I'm like, okay, Bombay's going to come back and be the coach by the end of this, but he doesn't. Instead, they have this redemption arc. And they tell us why he is how he is, sort of. He's teaching them how to play two-way hockey, which is not how they play. Like, he's teaching them how to play defense, and as Charlie says, I'm not a defenseman, I'm a scorer, which is what he is. He's a captain, he's a scorer, he's not a defenseman. They gotta learn defense. It's like a difficulty level. Like the Hawks were tough, but that's like normal, right? I'm going by WWE 2K logic. Like, the Hawks are normal difficulty. Iceland is hard difficulty. So then, the Varsity Warriors would be legendary difficulty, and they're really hard to beat. You can't do anything against them. And yeah. Lost my train of thought. So, there's a turning point in the film. Like, Charlie is done. He leaves Eden Hall. He's done with all this. And, you know, he was trying. He hates school, but he was trying to coexist. He had this girl that he was hitting on. That he's got a love interest. So he's the main character, definitely. But he gives it up because he can't deal with the coach. You know, he believes that they say that O'Ryan played for the North Stars, but when the North Stars left for Texas, became the Dallas Stars, he stayed behind, and Charlie assumes it's because he couldn't cut it. Well, a tragedy happens when Hans passes away, and in the usual Hans fashion, he tries to kind of push it off. When Charlie catches him coughing, he's, Hans, you okay? And he's like, because Hans is the Joker, and then shortly afterwards, he dies. Like, Charlie gets an argument with his mom and takes off. And then when he goes to see her, he finds out that Hans dies. And it's at the funeral. Like, when you first watch it, you can say, oh, it's completely random that Hans dies. I mean, there's hints of it, but it's just like, oh, okay, he dies. But it's a turning point for Charlie in this film. This is how he reconnects with Bombay. He's at the funeral. He sees that Charlie's going through something. And then the next morning, he wakes up Charlie, and they go to play some schoolyard puck. They reconnect with the Ducks, and then, everything. And from and Bombay explains to him what's going on with O'Ryan when he takes him to the skating rink, and he sees that O'Ryan's daughter was in a car accident. She's in a wheelchair, and when they left, he didn't want to leave her behind. I guess maybe they got a divorce, and that's why he didn't want to leave her behind, so that's why he stayed. So he sees there's a human side to Coach O'Ryan, and he kind of makes up with Coach O'Ryan. He shows up, he shows up for one of their away games, wants to play two-way hockey, and then everything's okay. And then Bombay is also brought back into the film because the board of directors want to take away their scholarships. But Bombay comes in and says, you can't do it because this and this and this and this. And then they are forced to reinstate them. They had the JV varsity showdown. The big showdown. One of the scenes I want to talk about, though, is that it's early in the film. And now, this is going to raise a point for me. The JV squad is told to stay away from the varsity squad, not to mess with, not to play, not to do anything. So the varsity decide to take them out to a dinner and then leave them the bill. So they have to wash dishes and stuff. And there's the thing with ants and everything, and they end up just playing a hockey game. But then the Ducks get in trouble for everything. And now their scholarships are in trouble because of this. Like, they're not winning, that's part of it. But I think it's also the troublemaking. But the varsity started everything. But the Ducks, I refuse to call them JV. The Ducks are getting in trouble for everything. Oh, here's another caveat. Like, there's no new characters or anything. There's no new team members. It's all the same. But Banks is put on the varsity team. Why? I have no idea, and it suits nothing to the plot at all. I mean, one would assume, okay, he's going to be on the Ducks. In the middle of their championship game, he's going to be the one to, like, he's going to have enough. In the middle of their big game, he's going to have enough. And in the halftime, he shows up and says, I'm back. I'm a Duck. I'm always a Duck. I want to play for the Ducks. But no, they don't do anything with it. Not really. He doesn't even turn against them. Like, they do nothing with this. Like, they do this, they do that dinner prank to him, and he is remorseful about it. And eventually he just rejoins the group after they were reinstated. And he's just a part of the team. Because he's not the big surprise, there's another big surprise. And if you're smart to catch on to it early, at the trial, Bombay says, I got some business in Chicago, but he'll be back for the game. What is in Chicago? Portman. So if you're smart enough to catch that, what he says, you can kind of guess what's going to happen. So, as per usual with the game, they're playing the game, they're getting their asses handed to them, and it goes to before the third period, and they're in there, and like, what are we gonna? They're in the back in the locker room. What are we gonna do? Then in walks Portman. Dean Portman has been accepted. Found this line around my place in Chicago. My lawyer thought I should sign it. I agreed. It's official, boys. I'm back. And he is used properly, at least for part. Like, he comes out there and he's the Bash Brothers back to do the thing, and he gets put in the penalty box, and like, he's sort of on the side, but he still plays. Unlike in the second one where he's kind of just shoved in the back during their first game against Iceland. But here he's used. They also use Goldberg to effect that he's the one that gets the winning goal. And they're like, yeah, but Goldberg? Charlie, don't ever do that to me again. But yeah, it's a big celebration. They win, of course, by 1 point. And the Ducks are here to stay. Like they said, the Warriors die, the Ducks fly. And so then Charlie looks into the audience. He sees Bombay standing there. Bombay looks over. And they show that the new banner is coming over the Warriors banner. And it says, Eden Hall Mighty Ducks. He's like, guys. And they all look what Bombay did. And I thought this was perfect. Like, music starts playing. They're celebrating and everything. And Gordon is just walking away. He goes through the doors, and that's the end of Gordon. We don't see the rest of the film. There's not much left anyway. And they're celebrating, and the movie ends with a flashback to the first one. They're celebrating where Bombay and Charlie, they do the fist bump thing or whatever. And I always thought that if they made a sequel to this, which they haven't. I mean, they're doing a sequel series, but it's not, I don't think it's going to be too connected to this. If they ever did a D4, that Gordon shouldn't come back. This was the perfect way to end Bombay's story. He wasn't in most of it, but he did his part. If they did a D4, you could mention him, but don't have him appear in the film. Because it would ruin, I mean, they're bringing it back for the Disney Plus thing, and that's a different story, because I don't think they're going to have any of the other characters on there. And the way they're doing the story, as much as I don't like it, it seems like it'd be perfect for Bombay to be back. So, it'll work out that way. But I think that if they did another sequel after this, like say in 2000, Charlie would have to be the focus. And by then they'd probably be going to college, playing college hockey. You know? But yeah, I'm just saying, it's a great way to end Gordon's time in the franchise. He's coming back, but that's a little different. And I'm sorry for the echo. Like, most of my stuff is gone. Like, you see this here, and the bed. All that's left in here, except for what's in the closet. But I don't need to have like everything out. Like, I just don't have the carpet when I do the carpets. But like I'm saying, this is a great way to end the trilogy. It's a perfect trilogy, to be honest. I don't see anything wrong with any three of these movies. It's just like the comedy is good. Hold on, I'm gonna check something while I'm thinking about it. Okay. My hip, that leg, that sweet ass leg of mine. I'm gonna take a look at the other two films here. Take a look at the back. This chair is gonna go. Oh man, I'm so sorry. Look at the back. Let's see. Stephen Herrick, Sam Eisman, Robert Lieberman. So different people directed them, but they're all like, it's the same producer, I think. Stephen Brill, produced John Kerner, and directed by Stephen Herrick. But Stephen Brill is involved in all this. So maybe not in this one, but they're a screenplay by, like, if you got, like, I'm just saying, this is one of the trilogies, like, all three movies, they're not bad. They're all pretty good movies. I don't hate any of them. I don't like anyone more than the other. Well, I used to like the second one more than the others, but I don't know. I understand these movies. They're good. So, my score, okay? D3 gets 8 out of 10 for me, alright? So, yeah, is there anything else I want to talk about? Oh, yeah. Scott White, who was Gunner in D2, comes back in this one, and he's Scooter. Different character, speaking an American accent. There's no explanation why. Maybe they're cousins. Who knows? But yeah, interesting. So 8 out of 10. What are your thoughts on D3 The Mighty Ducks? Let me know in the comments below. Like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.